So Asmongold is considering taking a break. This is something that he has talked about, how much work he does. You see him all the time. Like, he's got a million videos every day. He's on all the time. He's constantly under pressure. He's doing all kinds of stuff. And apparently his home life is also stressful. I'm going to play the video. Forgive me. It starts with a cuss word. I don't know. I can't make him not start with a cuss word. So just, if that bothers you, then I'm sorry. But let's just hear from him about what's going on.
Like, I'm fucking fried. I'm totally fried. I do my best to be live every day and to, be as consistent as I can be. But like, man, it is getting really hard for me to do. And you deserve a break. I mean, and if I take a break, it's probably going to be for a really long time, honestly.
When I was going through burnout, the word fried came up a lot. I used the word fried, but the other word that I kept using was whatever. There were two, it was, I'm fried. I'm so toast. I'm so done. I'm so wrecked. I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. And then when I got really bad, it became whatever. And that's where it became dangerous. I've talked about this before, but so I won't do too much. But essentially, when I really got to burnout, like actual burnout, before it was, man, I'm really tired. Then it was, man, I'm really feeling it. And then, I'm absolutely toasted, my body, and wow. And then it hit whatever. When I hit whatever, it didn't matter what people were saying or doing to me. That didn't matter at all. It was, you want to hurt me, or you want to take from me, or you want to renegotiate stuff that we agreed on. Okay, I'd be like, whatever. I don't even care. Whatever. The worst one was when they'd been going through meetings with me for, like, I don't know, a year and a half or something. And they promised me when we started that it would be all behind closed doors and they wouldn't release anything and we can all be open with each other. And after a year and a half, I was burnt out like crazy. And they all, the geniuses at the church were like, hey, we've decided to release all the notes to everybody in the church. You cool with that? But because I was so burnt out, so done, I didn't have the ability to argue or fight for myself or anything. It was just, I was alone and I just felt bad. And literally, whatever, do whatever you want. And I couldn't do it. So if he's caring for, like, he's got a big channel, he's got a big community, he's apparently caring for his dad, kind of thing. And if that's where he's at, you don't want to reach whatever. Because as soon as you reach whatever, you're making really bad decisions for people that you might care about, or things that are going to affect your future in a really severe way. So I appreciate a guy who is able to go, I'm toast, I'm tired, I'm so done, there's a lot going on and I don't know what to do with myself, but I just know that I need help, right? Or I need a break. And he's about to say, like, if he leaves, he ain't coming back anytime soon. And I appreciate that, because when I left, when I had burnout, I've done it twice because it was so fun the first time. I wanted to do it again. I went on break, and I was sent for 3 months, 3-month of break as a sabbatical. I actually ended up, there were other churches that paid for my sabbatical because the church I was serving wouldn't. They refused, and they were just going to keep squeezing me until I died. And so other pastors were willing to help me out. So, very thankful for that. When I was there, about 2 weeks in, I remember thinking, man, this is dumb. Oh, why am I even on sabbatical? Well, like, this is so stupid. I've had my rest. I feel absolutely, I'm restless. I don't know what to do with myself. Because I've been on nonstop, every meetings constantly, and Sunday and weekly and other meetings and more things and people and troubles for a long time. And it was when I had nothing to do, I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself, man. But I couldn't. I couldn't go back. It was meant to be 3 months. After 3 months, when I got to the 3-month mark, I'd started to feel it. Started to feel what burnout felt like. I started to feel the weight of the emotions, the weight of the anger, the weight of the fatigue, the weight of the hurt, the anxiety and the fear of just everything to do with that ministry and with the people and with all the rest of that stuff. I started to feel it. Took 3 months before I decompressed enough to get to the place where I could actually feel myself of what was actually going on inside. Even a year later, I still hadn't worked through all the stuff that I've been doing, had in my heart. Even 2 years later, I remember 2 years later, I was sitting in a meeting in a different church, pastoring a different church, and they were very lovely people. I think it was around Christmas or whatever. and they started talking about, we have to do next year's budget. And that includes talking about the pastor's salary. It was just a comment, it wasn't like anything because yes, that's what you do. You got to talk about the money, and I'm part of the money. And I burst out in tears, man. I was sobbing, just a wreck. And of course, everybody on the board looks up and what is wrong with Pastor Al? What just happened? Right. And so I threw sobs, and after calming myself down, I'm like, it's not you guys. This is pain from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, stuff that I haven't dealt with, stuff that I haven't processed, stuff that still hurts. And so, talking about this break for 6 months, if he's under that much pressure, 6 months is it might be enough to process some of it. But if he's not going to process it healthily, or he's just going to distract himself, or he's just going to game, or he's just going to, take more responsibilities on, or he's going to try to write a book or something, he's not going to get out of it what he needs to, because all the stuff that's inside he's not dealing with. He has to take time away, get some counseling, get some mentoring, figure out his life, figure out his health, figure out his environment, figure out what he's going through, where his energy went and where it's going to come from. That it needs to be a time of self-discovery and break and stillness and Sabbath, as opposed to just be not streaming anymore. Because it's really easy, like sort of nature aborts a vacuum situation, where when you stop this thing, the enemy, I believe, spiritually speaking, the enemy is going to want to cram in as much trouble and temptation and distraction and whatever is possible, so the brain doesn't decompress, so the brain doesn't have the chance to figure itself out, to untie all the knots, figure out where the emotions are coming from, figure out where the relations are, figure out where the support system is, figure out who's actually pulling life away from you that you need to sever off, people that you've severed in your life that you should have brought back because you weren't making good decisions, what in your content, what in your life, what in your schedule, what in your plan isn't actually working for you, right? Like I'm just doing it because I have to do it because I've always done it. Turns out it's actually not life-giving, it's life-sucking, and it's not helping anybody. And now I can see that clearly because I've taken time to do that. 6 months is probably, barely enough. Fortunately, he's got the money, and he's got the time, and he's got the community to be able to do that. Not a lot of people do. I appreciate that a guy who has been working very, very hard, and a guy who's been trying to figure out sort of the world and life, and trying to give his heart to a community, is feeling it.
Honestly, probably months. I don't know. I mean, I just it's been really bad, and I don't even want to, but I feel like life circumstances and what's been happening to me in my personal life, I just don't see a way to. I don't see a way to do all of that and not fucking continue killing myself, right?
And you can't. That really is the truth. I can't see a way to continue what I'm doing without actually continuing to burn out. That is true. And that's part of the problem. Is essentially what that is I have structured my life in such a way that the lack of structure, or the lack of boundaries, or the lack of me taking control of it, or it being out of control on my behalf because someone else did it, because if you got a sick person that kind of pulls from, you didn't have a choice in that. I have not figured that out yet. And all I am is expending more than I'm bringing in. And as I expend more than I bring in, I don't know how to keep going. Right? I don't know how this is going to work. And you can see, and I remember being able to see myself that it was something bad's going to happen. You start having thoughts that you've never had before. Like, I don't want to be around anymore. I don't want to be hurt anymore, and I don't want to quit. And the only way I can, because it's a ministry and because it's a calling, I can't quit. So the only way I can do this is to die. I wonder how I can die. I want to leave. Just all these thoughts that you never thought you'd have before are suddenly coming into your brain. And where are they coming from? They're coming from the desire for release, the desire for getting out of the situation, the desire for just relief from the bad, or relief from the stress, or even the good. There could be good stuff too, but relief from all of it. There's too much of it. And him going, I don't know. I just don't know how long it's going to take, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know what's going to happen, is a sign of going, things are out of control right now. And I've been able to hold it together through my talent and through my tenacity and through, getting some help or doing stuff with my sheer force of will. And that sheer force of will is wearing out. It's wearing out, and I'm wearing out. I don't know how much longer I can do this, which is a cry for help. It's a cry for, I need a break.
And so, yeah, that's it. I don't know yet, but that's really 6 months. I hope it would be that short. I don't know, man. Take a week, bro. Well, I don't know. Take a break.
Week, bro. Oh, and so there's another thing, right? If you have a community of people that depends on you, and as a pastor, I did, have a community of people that depended on me. They needed me there every single week. There'll be people who, out of their kindness, out of their generosity, out of saying, we need you, we love you, we want the best for you, will try to take, will be like, yeah, go have your week and then come back and continue to serve. And in their mind, they're being super generous. You're like, but what they're actually contributing to is the guilt of leaving, right? Like if you leave for any longer than 2 weeks, I'm going to fall apart. If you leave for any longer than 2 weeks, your whole thing's going to fall apart. This whole church, this whole life, this whole ministry, everything's going to fall apart. So you can have a week, and a week is just, like, that isn't even enough to start to scratch the surface of what's going on. But him 6 months, I don't know. My daughter was watching someone who she ended up going on a break, and she ended up she left for like 2 or 3 years, right? She just started posting here a few months ago. I wish I could remember her name. But she, she left and she just didn't come back. Right. I think I watched the video with her where she did come back, and it was like, I was like, I was really enjoying not doing this. And then I got to the point after so many years where I kind of miss the fun part. And so when she came back, she didn't come back to the grind, and she didn't come back to the calendar and come back to whatever. She just came back and she's like, I'm going to do this for fun now, which she could, because she's got $1 zillion in the bank and all kinds of really cool stuff. It was, but she could do that. And so talking about, how long is this going to take? Could take a while. And he has the freedom to do so, which is really good. By God's grace, he'll go and he'll find not only himself and good boundaries. Hopefully he'll find faith, understand Sabbath, be able to lean on God, lean on others, lean on community, be able to figure out his life through a biblical worldview, just so he can find Sabbath. But
for a bit, well, I mean, I'll let you guys know that, the stream and everything, it's not, it's mainly about there's no stress that my stream really creates. I mean, yes, obviously, there's a degree of if you're sitting and talking nonstop and thinking nonstop for 6 to 8 hours a day, that is mentally draining. It is. It's mentally draining to do.
It is.
And by the end of it, I'm pretty tired. But that's not really the reason why. It's everything else besides that. And so, yeah, you're always on. Yeah, you don't. It's a bandwidth issue, but it's mainly.
It's everything else as well as that is the point. Not just besides that. There are times, and I know this is true, because when I get on stream, there are times before I get on stream, I feel like crap. And there are times that at night, after supper, I don't feel great. I'm tired. I'm miserable. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm listless. And yet for the 4 hours, or I guess the 6 hours in between, prep and doing stream, I feel great. I feel like I have a purpose, and then I'm on stream and I'm talking to community, and your names come up, and I feel good about that. It makes me feel happy, and it's very good. It's a very good feeling. But at the same time, it does have a drain, right? There is a drain. If you're going to do it well, if you can do anything well, even if it's have fun, even if it's plan a party, it's going to be taxing, because just you trying to do it well is going to be pulling uphill.
The time, right? And that's really what's going on. Mental break? Yeah, I have no idea. Make it third channel? No, I'm gonna totally if I stopped, I would maybe tweet
another channel. And this is why you have to get away. So when I got away from the church, right, it was they were they weren't allowed to contact me. I wasn't allowed to go to work. There was a very clear defined no. You leave him alone and you don't go to work, so it's fine. You're allowed to not do that, which was super weird, because I'd been ministering nonstop for a long time. And it's who am I now? That was an identity crisis, right? Who am I now? What am I doing? What do I do with my life? Who am I when I'm at home? Who am I when I'm not, Pastor Al? What is this? Have I lost it all? There's so much going on. It is start a third channel. Oh, people, dude.
Right, but other than that, I just don't know. But it's just been completely, most days, by the time that I get home, I'm so tired and exhausted, I just eat my food and fall asleep on the floor. That's it. That's all I do. and I don't go out, I don't do anything, and it's every single day.
That's not a good sign. And I'll tell you from the perspective of a very lonely person, lonely in ministry is lonely. If you go to, and so is streaming for that matter, you go look at the statistics for pastors, say, 9 out of 10 don't have a friend, right? Things like that. They haven't, had a social engagement in forever. They don't have a hobby. Everything is just like work and ministry. And so in the same way, content creation very much so is, always on, the grind is real, et cetera, et cetera. And so for him, kind of going, I do what I need to for the sake of my community, for the sake of my content, for the sake of the agreements that I've made, and then I am done. That means that he is only expelling. And then at the end, he's done. Like, it's almost like you have gas in the tank and you sleep, and that, puts in your tablespoon of gas, and you just kind of try to go on that all day. And then at the end, and you just done your car. Like, that is not good for any machine. That is not good for anything. At some point, you have to figure out how to get more than you're trying to ask from. And it is deeply unhealthy. It's unhealthy for your body. It's unhealthy for your mind. It's unhealthy for your community. It's unhealthy for your spirit. It's just categorically unhealthy. And then the compensation for that, what you end up doing to try to fill that gap, is caffeine, is trying to, self-comfort with, whatever bad stuff, is trying to use the power of anger, or the power of trying to hype yourself up, or, like emotional push on yourself to make yourself feel so you have the adrenaline so you can get through, kind of thing. And you end up just being miserable. That's why you look at these people who are on the edge of burnout. They are grumpy, and they are just not happy people. It's because that they're just trying to get through the day, and the way that they're trying to cope is through stimulants and frustration. That's what they're powered by right now, and the rest of it is just dead air.
And so make a third channel is wild. And so it's just like, yeah, I don't know. But that's pretty much where I'm at. I just want to let you guys know, that's something I have been considering. I haven't made a decision on it, and I don't want to do it. But sometimes I feel like, especially when I have days like I did yesterday, it's almost like inevitable.
It should be inevitable, right? So that's one of the signs, is that you are hitting this wall of, there's nothing left at the end of the day. There's nothing left at the end of the week. There's nothing left at the end of the stream. I can, or the content, or the Sunday, or the whatever your thing is. And I feel it. Your spirit, your mind, your brain, your body is going, you gotta pull back, man. You gotta pull back. You gotta pull back. And if you don't listen, biggest piece of advice, if you don't take a break yourself, your body will take one for you, and you're not going to like that one. Right? Your mind will take one for you, and you're not going to like that one. You either take one willfully. It's sort of like grief, right? When you go through death, right? You go through, someone died, you will grieve. You don't have a choice whether you'll grieve. You get a choice to grieve healthily, or you get a choice to grieve unhealthily, but you will grieve. You try to put that off and pretend it doesn't happen. All you're going to do is do it badly. Same thing with rest, same thing with Sabbath, same thing with burnout, right? You are going to burn out. It's going to happen. You feel it. Question is, are you going to deal with it in a healthy way, in a managed way, in a mentored way, in a way that it works for you? Or are you going to do it in a way that is actually where your body just gives up? Your body gives up. Now you have stomach ulcers, and now your cortisol has ruined all your joints, and now you have insomnia, and now you're taking 12 kinds of pills just so that you can get through the day, and now you burnt out your adrenal glands, and you burnt out all of the stuff that keeps you going, and it doesn't physically work anymore, which means you can't rally. There's no rally left because you actually wrecked that part of your brain and your body. You're just done. That will happen. That it does happen. And the trick is to not let it. The trick is to not let it, right? I honestly hope that he is able to find rest and able to find good counsel and takes the break that he needs, because and I hope he doesn't listen to those people in this community. Just start a third channel.